Welcome and good afternoon. This is Commish Orr. Today we're going to give you a little behind the scenes on what I do to get a website functional. Now, in my case, it's a website that I'm just using to record all of my tabletop baseball projects. But this could be the same process if you have any hobby or anything you want to put online or build a website for and all of that fun stuff. So it's not solely for tabletop baseball, but it could be applicable to anything. But in my case, I use it for tabletop baseball. And so there are going to be a couple of things that are unique to that I'm going to show you as well. I've gotten a couple questions about this kind of thing. And I know that before I went down this path, I was also curious about this stuff. And it's hard to find videos that really give you this kind of overview. So I thought I'd just make one. I don't know how many of you this will be applicable to, but there you have it. So first off, this is my website, baseballmaelstrom.com. This is what I use to track all of my projects, tabletop baseball projects that I have going on, and I have two current projects. I have this Payoff Pitch Pops League Season 2, and I have the Best of the 1990s, Best of the Decades 1990s tournament using season ticket baseball. Payoff Pitch is the other game that I use, but I've also done a tournament with History Maker Baseball that's also on here, and some of the past Best of the Decades tournaments, and my season 1 of my Payoff Pitch League is also on here. And by the way, I came up with this idea because long ago when I ran with my co-commish, Commish Dugan, I ran an online baseball league out of the park league for over 10 years, 10 real years. We had a website, and it was also baseballmaelstrom.com at that time. And that's where we, uploaded everything, and owners could track their progress, track their stats. We did little stories on each game and that kind of thing as well. Or not stories on each game, but weekly updates on the website as well. And so I kind of wanted to pattern this off of that. Now, many of you have no intentions of uploading anything. It's just for your own enjoyment, and that's completely fine. But maybe you do. Maybe you want to have a place that you can store your stuff, keep it all in one place and be able to view it in this way. And so here it is. So as you can see, if you go to baseballmaelstrom.com, I have a nice little header here, which was our original header from our Out of the Park League, actually. And then, a little menu of choices here, and a story, past stories, past recaps from either my projects. I have some standings here, which is for my Pops League. I have today's schedule for my Pops League. I have past scores for my Pops League, and then my trailer, my trailer for my league as well down here that you can go to follow this YouTube link to my YouTube page. So that's kind of what I have all laid out here. And I can't say no website building experience or no experience coding or anything like that. I can't say I have none, but I would call myself a beginner, pretty beginner when it comes to building websites and stuff. So this is stuff that I've used that fortunately nowadays there's a lot of plug and play stuff that can just help you out. So let's talk about the first thing. The first thing is I needed the baseballmaelstrom.com domain name, the baseballmaelstrom.com domain name. And just recently I've switched to a site called Pork Bun. It's the cheapest that I've found. And so if you have a .com, like I do, baseballmaelstrom.com, you can get the domain name for $11 a year. So $11.06 currently. But as you can see, you can also get different extensions other than .com, all sorts of different extensions that cost different amounts of money per year. But .com is a pretty common one, and that's the one I use, and that is $11.06 per year. Pork Bun is good because it really gives you the domain names pretty much at cost, if that makes sense. You can get the domain name with your hosting provider, like your web host provider, but that and packaged together. But it's going to cost you about double this $11 a year It's going to cost you like probably $21 or $22 a year. And so I just recently switched to Porkbun because it's half the cost. Now, that's great to get the domain name, baseballmaelstrom.com in my case, but you also need a way to build a website. So you need a hosting provider that can host your website. So once you have secured the domain name, you need the hosting provider to allow you to store like the files and the appearance and all of that of your website. And for that, again, recently I've moved to pair.com, pair.com, and I've done this managed WordPress hosting. The WordPress hosting makes it very easy to build a website. There are a lot of plugins and that kind of thing, and I'll show you the one I use here in a minute, but this makes it so easy to build a website. And the first year, they're going to give you a discount. Usually, so like in this case, prepay for 12 months, get 50% off. So as you can see, the managed WordPress hosting is roughly $8 a month. It's going to cost $96 for a year for hosting. And that's the first year. And then the second year, it's going to basically double that to, 100 and whatever that is, 94 or $192 a year. So, but you need this hosting in order to show your website, basically. So again, the two pieces you'll need is the domain name and hosting provider. And again, you could use the same company for both. Pair does hosting too, but again, it's $21 a month or $21 a year or something like that. Porkbun's just a little cheaper. And there are positives and negatives to using different providers for each of those. The positive of using a different provider for each of those is that if you ever change host providers, you don't have to worry about changing your domain provider also. You can just keep the domain where it is on Porkbun and not have to worry about it. One of the advantages if you have them both on the same company is then you can manage everything from one site. But again, it's a little more expensive that way. Not a huge amount, but a little bit. So far my costs for this first year, were $96 for this hosting and a little over $11 for the domain name. And that's great. And again, WordPress hosting, you can get a lot of plug and play stuff to help you build a website. But I wanted one that was specific to baseball in my case. So I did a lot of research on this, and the one that I found was from themeboy.com, and I use the Marquee theme. And the theme is basically a package, if you will. It's basically a package. So when you use the Marquee theme, it's going to give you the package that includes standings. You can do profile pages for each team. There's a lot of things that are automated that you can use that'll automate things for you. You can use it to keep track of stats. I don't use it to keep track of stats, but you could use it to keep track of stats. You can display upcoming games, manage schedules, have individual player pages, create leaderboards. All of this stuff you can do with this theme package. Now, I don't use all of that stuff, but I do use a decent amount of that stuff. So as you can see on the website, the standings, this is from the theme. The today's schedule, that's from the theme. The scores from the last days, that's from the theme. So a lot of that stuff's from the theme that I bought and have access to. And I can click on a team. Let's say click on this, and it gives me a team page. And again, that's from the theme. And I can click on individual players and go to a player page that's also from the theme and all of that stuff. It's as in-depth as you want it to be. And this theme costs basically $80 a year also. So this theme, it costs $80 a year. So all in for this first year, I'm at 96 plus 11, 180 bucks, roughly $180 for this first year. So you're going to spend, if you want a website like this, very basic website, you're going to spend a couple $100 probably each year to keep it up and going. And again, not necessary, but it does scratch the itch that I had to display this stuff. And the good news is that as long as I keep paying, I have access to all of that, all of the stuff that I've uploaded and all of that good stuff. So if we come out here, you'll notice on the top, I've already logged into my WordPress. So there's a lot of stuff that I can do up here. And if you click on Sportspress, which is this theme is part of Sportspress. Sportspress allows you to have special options over here, such as events, which are how you put in the games, team pages, player pages, staff pages. The theme is really for, like, maybe you have a little league team. You could have their stuff displayed using the WordPress theme, and because there's stuff like sponsors and stuff that you can use too to promote sponsors on your page. So it's really designed for like little league and other other leagues like that may have sponsorships or whatever, and you can keep track of your player stats and that kind of thing on a page for parents or whatever to come and look at. But it also serves a purpose for me for tabletop stuff. And so that's what I've been using. Events. Now there's two things. There's two different styles here, if you will. Payoff Pitch I have with the standings and the schedule and the past scores and all of that is all Payoff Pitch stuff. I don't use that for the tournament because the standings don't really matter for a tournament. So I haven't used that for the tournament. Likewise, I don't use it for stats. I use ball score to keep track of stats. And so when you come out to the stats page, this is uploaded from the output from ball stat. This is all outputted from ball stat. So I don't need the theme to keep track of the stats because ball stat does a great job at doing that. But I can come in here to events. I can look at each game. And then what I do is I will go into the game and I'll upload. Oh, this is in the old days when I used to do videos for everything. Let's get to let's go to my current league that I'm doing right now for Payoff Pitch. I'll filter that out. Okay, so this is my current Payoff Pitch League. And if you go to edit one of these games, you can see that what I do is I do a little write-up on every game. It's like a little paragraph on every game. And then I also upload the box score and score sheet. So every event, I attach my write-up from the game and the score sheet. And then down here, I put in the score. And it automatically calculates wins and losses based on who had more runs. And that's what helps populate the standings page that you see here. When I update the event with the results, it automatically will update wins and losses for these tables that have been created to be put on the web page. A lot of this stuff is done through the Appearance tab and widgets. So if you come up here to widgets, kind of showing you some behind the scenes stuff here. You'll notice that I have a sidebar that I can put the recaps. That's how I have recaps on my sidebar here, and the scores. And then I can adjust the dates to show what scores I wanted to show. This is everything you see in the sidebar here on the side. And then on the home page, that's the stuff you see here. This is the home page section. So you see the write-up on the last game. You see the standings. You see the schedule, and that's all the Payoff Pitch stuff. Now, what I do for my tournament page, go to the tournament page, is you'll notice that it looks a little different. There's no standings. There's no upcoming schedule. Because it's a tournament, I don't have that stuff. But there is a link to stats where you can get to the stats from BallStat. There's the latest game write-up, and there is the tournament bracket image here. And that's all done through a separate page that I've created. So if I come to pages and I go to Best of the Decades 1990s, I've created a separate page for that league that shows just what I was talking about. and you can arrange this any way you want to. And again, I'm only using a small portion of the ability of the theme and the plugin, the Sportspress plugin. You can get pretty detailed with it, but I'm using it for what I need to use it for. And let's go over to my History Maker Baseball tournament page, which was the one that I wrapped up. This isn't even a current one, but the same thing. I have a separate page for this that has links to the schedule that I use, that schedule, the tournament bracket, the stats, the write-ups, all of the write-ups you can see here. And all of this is editable because the WordPress, the theme adds some of that flavor with the standings page and all of that. And then the Sportspress plugin allows you to kind of get it set up this way. And you can control the menu, titles, and everything else you can control as part of that whole setup. Now, the one other thing, which is, again, probably something that you don't necessarily need, but I decided to have it anyway, is this. I got the package, the pair.com package that has the hosting, and it also comes with email. So I have a baseballmaelstrom.com email address, commish@baseballmaelstrom.com, that I can receive mail on. And again, maybe you don't need the email. Does make the package a little bit more expensive, but if you don't need that, you don't need it. But if you want a separate email with that matches your domain name, baseballmaelstrom.com in my case, then you have to see about getting an email add-on or email package along with it. Those email packages come with usually dozens of email boxes that you could set up. So I could set up, I have Commish but I could set up, all sorts of different @baseballmaelstrom.com email addresses and manage those from that page. Again, everything you see here I've added in, but the plugin and the theme make it very easy to drop stuff into. It's done very easily through the WordPress, and WordPress is just what I'm most familiar with. And then I don't really have to worry about too much because the hosting provider provides, all of the make sure the site's secure, provides support if you need it. All of that stuff is handled, does backups every day in this case. All of that stuff's handled by my provider, and I don't need to worry about any of that stuff, which is very, very handy. And now I have a record, because I have this website, I have a record of everything, all of the games I've played in all of my leagues. Now, the other thing I haven't mentioned yet is you may need a way to upload stuff. So in my case, I'm uploading all of the stats, for example, and all of the score sheets. So I use FileZilla, and for FileZilla, you get logged into your through FTP, which is the protocol that's used to upload files to a server, and you get logged into your, in this case, my baseballmaelstrom.com server. And let's log in real quick just so you can see what it's all about. Here on the right hand side, this is my server, and so I have folders for each league: Payoff Pitch, Season Ticket Baseball 30s, Season Ticket Baseball 90s, History Maker Baseball. I have separate folders for each of these leagues, and each folder has score sheets and stats as subfolders, and that's where I drop, once I generate them with Ballstat, for example, I can upload them to that folder, and then when you go to the website, they will show up. So everything I upload to the stats folder for Payoff Pitch goes into this, goes in here into this link, basically. So when you click on this link, you go to the stats here for the league. So that's kind of the other piece of it, that you need to be able to have some way of uploading your files to the right place. And so that's my setup for the league. I don't know how interesting that is for everyone, but again, it's something that I was curious about before I created all of this, and I've kind of had to learn on my own to figure all this stuff out. And so if you've ever thought about making your own WordPress, or your own website, this is a way that you could do it that's fairly easy. and you don't need to know too much programming or anything like that. There was some experimentation I had to do to figure out some of these, what some of these options would do to make the page look the way I wanted it to look. But again, a lot of that stuff was fairly straightforward, and there wasn't a steep learning curve to it once you've figure out the basics. All right, we will leave things here. I will leave a link down below to some of these sites in case anybody's curious. Now, keep in mind they may be affiliate links. Affiliate links just mean that I get some benefit if you sign up. You get some discounts if you sign up using the affiliate link, and I get a small, usually a small discount or something applied when somebody signs up using my affiliate link too. I'm not, let's face it, I'm paying a couple $100 a year. I'm not getting rich off of this by any means. I've already talked, the YouTube channel isn't bringing in any money, and this isn't going to bring in really any money either. So I'm not getting rich on any of this, but it is a mutually beneficial thing to sign up with the affiliate links, and we both win in those cases. If you're somebody who is curious about creating a web page for, well, any hobby, but in this specific case, tabletop baseball. All right, with all of that said, hopefully you enjoyed that. Consider clicking the like button if you liked this video. If you'd like to see more behind the scenes content, somebody asked about my video setup. I can do a video on that sometime. I show you what I use, what I use to set up and record videos and that kind of thing. Give you the behind the scenes on that if anybody's curious. But if there's anything else you're wondering about, leave that down in the comments as well. And until next time, have a great evening.